Okay, pre-calc students, now we are on page 2, and we are looking at some special right triangles. So just for reference, I sketched some special right triangles in the margin here. I'm using the easier form of the triangles, the 1, 1, root 2, just because those are easier numbers to deal with in the fractions. And in the 30, 60, 90, the short leg is 1, the long leg is root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. So I'm going to solve these with proportions, and I'll set up proportions for each problem. You can also solve a lot of problems with formulas, such as in the 30, 60, 90, the hypotenuse is twice the length of the short leg. So if you like doing that with formulas, be sure to review that with your teacher. The method I'm going to use today is just by solving proportions. Proportions. Okay. In the first problem, I have the hypotenuse as 5 root 2, and so I can say my hypotenuse is 5 root 2. In the parent triangle, my hypotenuse is root 2. I'm trying to find this side, which I happen to know is the same as this side because it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So in my triangle, the leg is x, and in the parent triangle, the leg is 1. So that when I cross multiply, I get x times root 2 equals 5 root 2. So I'll divide both sides by root 2, which will cancel out both of the root 2's, and I get x equals 5. So I know both of my legs actually equal 5. Okay, I'm going to switch colors just so that I don't lose track of which goes with which problem. In problem 2, I have my long leg labeled as 7 root 3. So I'm going to write 7 root 3 that did not seem to change. Okay, 7 root 3, and then I'm going to divide that by the long leg in the parent, root 3. And that is going to equal, let's find our short leg first. I'm just going to call it A, just so I have a different letter on here, and I'll call this one B over here. No, actually, let's call that one C, because it's opposite the hypotenuse. I'll call it C. This is the hypotenuse. So 7 root 3 over root 3 equals, in my triangle, the short leg is called A, and in this triangle, the short leg is called 1. So when I cross multiply, I get A times root 3 equals 7 root 3. And if you divide by root 3 on both sides, you just get A equals 7. Alright, so you can set up a proportion now to find out the hypotenuse, and you want to use your easier number, so I'm going to use 7 here. Some of you also just know the hypotenuse is twice the short leg, so it's fine to take a shortcut if you're sure it always works. In my proportion, I have 7 for my short leg over 1 for this short leg. C for the hypotenuse and 2 for the hypotenuse. So I get 1C, which is just C, equals 2 times 7, 14. So I have C equals 14. I'm going to try again to change color, see how well that works. Okay, now I have another 30, 60, 90, and my short leg is 4 root 5. So I have 4 root 5 for my short leg. Short leg over here is 1. And I'm going to find my long leg. So my long leg, I'm going to call that one B. And I'll call this C. So to find this long leg, I'm going to put B over, and the long leg here is root 3. So 1B is just B. When you multiply 4 root 5 times root 3, just multiply the radicals. So the 4 is the coefficient, root 5 times root 3 is root 15. So the B is 4 root 15. To find the C, I'm going to go back to my short leg. So my short leg was 4 root 5, and the short leg up here is 1, equals C from my triangle over the C from this triangle, which is 2. 1C is just C. 2 times 4 root 5, multiply the 2 times the 4 because neither of those are radicals. So that gives me 8 root 5. Okay, one new color. I'm going to scroll a little bit. Alright, so down here I have a lot of missing information. So the side that I know is this one over here. I know this is 8, and that's the hypotenuse in a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So I happen to know that both of these sides are the same, and I'm just going to call them X. Actually, they're called Y, so I'm going to call them Y. So Y is my missing side, and in my parent triangle that side would be a 1. 8 is my hypotenuse. In my parent triangle, that would be a root 2. So I get y root 2 equals 8. I'm going to divide by root 2. So I have 8 over root 2. I need to rationalize it. I'm going to get 8 root 2 over 2, which simplifies to 4 root 2. So my y value is 4 root 2. And that means this y is also 4 root 2. So now the 4 root 2 is the short leg on my 30, 60, 90. So now I need to do some more math to find, let's find the long leg. So I know the short leg is 4 root 2. In my parent triangle, the short leg is 1. In my triangle, the long leg is x, and in the parent triangle, the long leg is root 3. So I get 1x, which is x, and I multiply 4 root 2 times root 3, which gives me 4 root 6. Okay, and because I'm running out of space here, I'm just going to use this shortcut. I know this one's 4 root 6. That the hypotenuse is 2 times the short leg. So 2 times 4 root 2 equals 8 root 2. Alright, let's go back to black ink. Alright, again, we have two triangles next to each other. I know that this side here is 6 root 2, which means this must also be 6 root 2. To find the x, I'm going to solve with a proportion. So I have x is the hypotenuse here, root 2 is the hypotenuse in my parent, 6 root 2 is the leg here, and 1 is the leg in my parent. So I get 1x, and 6 root 2 times root 2, which is 6 root 4, and the square root of 4 is 2, so 6 times 2, so I get x equals 12. Okay, over here I can find my short leg because I have 6 root 2 for my long leg. So my long leg is 6 root 2. Normally the long leg would be root 3. And then here my short leg is, oh, that looks like a z. And then my short leg in my parent triangle is 1. So I have root 3z equals 6 root 2. I need to divide by root 3. I have 6 root 2 over root 3. I'm going to rationalize. I'm going to multiply it by root 3 over root 3. So I have z equals 6 root 2 over root 3 times root 3 over root 3. I get 6 root 6 over 3. And then I divide one more time and I get 2 root 6. So that one is, the z is 2 root 6. And I'm just going to take that shortcut one more time because I ran out of space. The hypotenuse is twice the short leg. So the hypotenuse is going to be 4 root 6. Alright, so now make sure you take a note of that. Pause the video if you have to. I'm going to have to do a little erasing to make room for problem number 6. Alright, problem number 6. We have a nice triangle over here, but it's kind of hard to see the letters. So this is angle A, this is angle B, and this is angle C. So they tell you that side B is 1 and side C is root 34. So you have to remember that side B is opposite of angle B. So here's angle B, A, and C. So side B is 4. And side C is root 34. So normally you would do some Pythagorean theorem, but in this case, cosecant B, remember cosecant B is going to be hypotenuse over opposite, and we actually already have those things. We have the hypotenuse, and we have the opposite. So we can just write that this is root 34 over 4, and we didn't even have to do Pythagorean theorem. Alright, the next one gives new values. Notice I'm making a new triangle for each problem because it keeps changing and I don't want to confuse myself. So I'm going to make a new triangle. So this time they tell you that B is 3, A is 8, and C is 5 root 3. So they say the tangent of which angle is 8 over 3. So I want 8 to be my opposite, and I want 3 to be my adjacent. So 8 is opposite of A. So for angle A, it looks like opposite over adjacent would be 8/3. So the angle is A. Tan A equals 8/3. So your answer is angle A. Alright, the next one is definitely one that people find tricky. They tell you that the tangent of B is 4/5. So I'm going to go back and draw a new triangle. Here's my B, C, and A. So the tangent of B, that would be an opposite of 4, an adjacent of 5. But then they tell you, no, wait a second, B is 2, and we have to find the C. So I'm going to first start by finding the C in this triangle with the 4 and the 5. So it's 4 squared plus 5 squared equals C squared. And I have 16 plus 25, so I get 41 equals C squared. So C is equal to the square root of 41. Alright, so remember that these are just the proportions of the side. This could actually be 40, 50, and 10 root 41. So it is possible for my side B to be 2 if I divide all my sides by 2. So that's what I'm going to do. If I divide all my sides by 2, oops, here's my B again, C and A. Let's see, my 4 becomes 2, my 5 becomes 5/2, and my root 41 becomes root 41 over 2. So it asks me to find the C, so C is square root of 41 over 2. Alright, one more on this page. And this time, same triangle. A, B, C. They tell me that A is 60 degrees, which now I know means this is one of my special triangles. They also tell me side B is 3. So I have the short leg, so my short leg is 3, and the short leg in the parent triangle would be 1. And let's see, I'm trying to find A, which is the long leg. So I need to find A, and the long leg in the parent triangle is root 3. So 1A equals 3 root 3. Alright, that's the end of page 2. There is another video for page 3.